The board members are very anxious to meet in person and may go towards some sort of hybrid system for the people who are a little bit less anxious about meeting in person, and combining with the people who are anxious to meet in person. And lastly, on the libraries, the Friends of the Library Photography Contest deadline is approaching. So it's time to get your hidden treasures pictures submitted for consideration for the 2022 calendar. And my last item is that the Environmental Health and Social Services Committee, which consists of myself, Councilman Peretti and Councilwoman Newbauer, will be meeting tomorrow for our quarterly meeting. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you very much. And next we will move on to the Department of Recreation, Councilman James Peretti.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. From
Chapter
the Department of Recreation,
due to
spring
COVID.
soccer and T-ball will finish this Saturday, June 19th. We want to especially thank all our volunteer coaches and parents for their amazing support and commitment to run this program this year. Please continue to follow social distancing volunteer and coaches and parents for their amazing support and commitment to run this program. At this time, our spring clinics have concluded. The programs were a huge success, and we had a great turnout. And we look forward to trying to run those again next year and also expanding those clinic programs. We are still accepting registration for Albert Avenue Summer Recreation Camp until this Friday, June 18th. Please go to the Milltown Borough website under Recreation Department, Program Registration, Community Pass to register. That's the navigation you would follow while going to the Milltown Borough website. The Milltown Borough Pool is scheduled to open this Saturday, June 19th. Registration is still open for daily and seasonal badges. Daily or seasonal badge will be needed starting June 19th this Saturday. Badges can be purchased at the pool. At this time, no swim lessons are planned, but this may change as the season progresses and protocols change. With summer on the way, please remember, if you are interested in renting any of our beautiful Milltown parks, please contact the Recreation Department directly to acquire a park facility usage form. Finally, please note we are still accepting non-perishable food donations for our Milltown neighbors in need, as well as for the Middlesex County Food Bank, which also supports Milltown residents. You may drop items off at Borough Hall and place them in the green bins in the hallway of the main entrance during normal business hours. Please remember, masks are required to enter the building. Please do not leave food in the police entrance vestibule. That concludes the recreation report. For committee reports, one of the committees I'm a liaison for is the HRC that presented today. So want to thank them for their wonderful presentation, and really I'm very excited to be their liaison for this committee. Just one more note about the committee though. There were unfortunately recent incidents of racial bias incidents in town. And although we cannot stop every racially biased incident from occurring, we do want to make sure that the HRC, as well as the Borough Council, really, as Patty was detailing, it embraces diversity and inclusion and fundamentally denounces any form of racism or discrimination of any kind. So I just want to let our Milltown residents know that HRC is doing a lot of great work, and the council is fully backing them to try to make, again, this Milltown live up to its reputation of the greatest little land around. Another committee, the Milltown Historic Preservation Committee, hosted its first homeowner workshop, and really proud of the work that was done on, it was this last Saturday, June 5th. Our president, Randy Ruth, hosted it, and it was a wonderful event. You know, there was about masonry foundation work, how to remove paint from a brick foundation, to repoint bricks, how to actually make your own mortar. It was a really interesting educational class, and we look forward to hopefully offering other type of workshops geared towards historical preservation that resonate with the buildings in town, particularly our residential homeowners. So again, really proud of the group for the event and hopefully look forward to more events coming soon. And that concludes my reports.
Great, thank you. Yeah, and then I thank you to Randy Ruth for doing that. I wish I could have been there. I had a conflict, but I could have used that information for my house too. But thank you, James. Appreciate it.
I should make a plug for those who missed it. There are a lot of resources that Randy was putting together that was shared at the event and is also going to be made available in a Google Drive. So there is, I can actually tell you if you have any questions, there's an email, Milltown Historic Preservation @gmail.com. Please, for all the residents, any questions or any desire to see those materials, reach out to that email and Brandy will get back to you.
Great, thank you very much. All right, now we will move on to our administrator report, Jeanette Larison.
I actually just have two minor things. The building, with the governor's changes to the health emergency and the guideline changes, the building is fully accessible to the public as it had been for the past year, but masks are now optional. So we ask that everyone respect each individual choice to wear or not wear a mask. We're not requiring that you identify yourself as being vaccinated or not, and that you will see some employees will wear masks and some will not. And the same with any patrons or residents visiting the building. So we're just asking to be respectful of one another. And actually that was and then I wanted to just remind the public that the building is now under summer hours, which would make that Monday through Thursday from 8 a.m. to 4:30 and Fridays from 8 to 12. And that will continue through the week before Labor Day. And that is all I have to report today.
Oh, wait, before you go on mute. So can we also follow up, because when we're talking about lifting the emergency, I know we spoke about having the council meetings be back in council chambers. And originally we really wanted to do it live in person, but then have, maybe a Zoom link too, but that's a challenge because of the recording of the meeting. So we will be looking to be back in council chambers for the July meeting. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So I guess at the next meeting, we'll have more of a formal announcement about that.
Right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Next, we'll move on to our engineer's report. Hi, Lou.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
And good evening, everyone. So as Councilwoman Neubauer noted, on June 9th, we met with the Public Works Committee to discuss potential applications for the DOT state aid grants this year. Two projects were noted during that meeting and were recommended. The first is under the municipal aid program, which the borough's historically used to fund roadway improvements. And that project would be West Foch Avenue improvements. You may recall 2 years ago, the borough submitted for the West Foch area roadway improvements, which included West Foch, Hague, and Patane. The borough is moving forward with the Hague and Patane improvements. Unfortunately, the DOT grant was not enough to do all three roadways. So the recommendation this year is to put in an application for West Foch so that project can be completed. Second project that was identified was under the bikeway program, and that would be a bikeway system on the Albert Avenue Park property. You may recall there's a pathway along Albert Avenue. It runs down Coolthaw Avenue for some distance, and this project as proposed would loop around the ball fields and around the remainder of the park and basically complete the loops throughout the park. So those are the two projects that were identified, and if the council supports those projects, we'll move forward and prepare the applications. That's all I have, Madam Mayor.
Great, thank you. Any questions for the engineer? Or the BA? I forgot to ask. Okay, and now we will move on to our borough attorney report. Mr. Vignola.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On May 25th, I attended the fairness hearing on the Borough settlement agreement with the Acme property as part of our affordable housing obligation. At that time, the special counsel for the borough proceeded with their presentation of the settlement agreement, and it was found to be fair to individuals of low and moderate income, so that it was approved by the court. So the next step in the process will be the compliance hearing on our affordable housing plan, a couple years after the fact. That's due to be heard on July 30th. Right now, there is some question over the interaction with the current condemnation action by the Ford Avenue Redevelopment Agency, and whether or not that July 30th date may need to be put off a bit, just to try to coordinate the two proceedings and how they interact with one another. But I can give you a better update as we get closer to that. And that is all I have.
Thank you. And the agency meets tomorrow night, so
There you go.
hear more about that. Yes, thank you.
You got it.
Okay, so now it's my comments. I thank Councilman Zambrana for bringing up 4th of July, which I was going to mention. Also, when we were talking about the health emergency, I get weekly reports from the county on the Middlesex County vaccination rates. And so I'm happy to report that Milltown, as of last week, was showing 70% vaccinated, which is great. And to Jeanette's point about opening things up at the Borough Hall, I want to thank all of the employees and everyone here because the Borough Hall has been operational, as have all of our services throughout the pandemic. And I know that there are other places in Middlesex County that the town halls are closed or just opening up. So I really thank everyone for all of their efforts throughout the pandemic. I'm happy that we're starting to get out and around more, and people are staying healthy, but I'm glad to see those numbers for the vaccinations too. So thrilled that we can have a 4th of July celebration. I was honored to attend yesterday a farewell party for Pastor Josh, who is leaving to go to a different ministry for the Methodist Church, and that was at the American Legion, and it was a very heartfelt event for him. And I will be attending the JK promotion ceremonies too. So that prompts me to congratulate all of the graduates from Milltown, whether it be moving on from kindergarten or pre-K to kindergarten to Parkview, first grade, third grade fly up, 8th grade promotion, high school and college and beyond. I wish you all well, and you know that Milltown will always be proud of you, and it will always be your hometown. So we wish you well. And on that note, I believe that's all I have. So I'm going to move on to old business. Does any member of the council have any old business to bring before the council this evening? Seeing none, I will move on to new business. Does any member of the council have any new business to bring before the council? Seeing none, I will move on to audience comments. The public comment portion of our meeting is to allow the public to bring to the council's attention their concerns or comments. The council will respect the public's time by refraining from comment until the speaker has finished. It should further be noted that the public comment portion of our meeting is not structured as a question and answer session. If a member has questions they seek answers to, an appointment can be made with the appropriate office during regular business hours or with a council member at their convenience. Please state your name and address for the record when you wish to speak. And seeing none, Mimi, right?
See none.
Okay, so we will close audience comments and move on to council comments. Does any member of the council have any comments? Councilman Ligotti has his hand up.
I do. I have 3 comments. First is just want to thank the borough clerk and her staff for a successful primary election, although a little bit different than we're used to, very successful. Hopefully November will go just as smoothly. Secondly, I like to go old school and just do a birthday wish to my daughter that's coming up and kind of gets the raw end of this deal because her birthday falls on Father's Day this year. So happy Father's Day and happy birthday to my daughter.
That's nice. Happy birthday. Anyone else? Oh, so speaking of which, so I just to follow up on the primary election, yes, I would thank the clerk. Also, it was a whole new system this year, a lot to get used to. And as we said at a few meetings ago, it was held at the senior center strictly for the primary. It won't be that way in November to allow this not to disrupt the schools because the schools are still using the gym as a lunch area. So I'm glad, hopefully everything worked well. From what I hear, it did. And one thing that I did not mention in my comments that I just wanted to mention is we lost one of our former police officers last week. So I wanted to send my condolences to Officer Petrie's family. He was a longtime member of the Milltown Police Department, very involved in the DARE program. And it was sad to hear. And I give my heartfelt prayers to Heidi and his mother and his family. And we certainly feel for the full PBA because it is a loss. So I just didn't want to let the evening go without mentioning that as well.
Mayor, I was going to actually mention that as well. And we had recently lost a long-time firefighter as well. Don, help me with his last name. Was it Comari?
Nick?
I don't know.
I was hoping you would come through and help me pronounce his last name, but people who serve in volunteer capacities seem to do so for an extremely long time here in Milltown. And I know our firefighters came to the committee, the Public Safety Committee, and had asked about bringing the fire truck to his services. And I thought that was particularly special.
Oliver?
Yes, I'm sorry.
There you go. Oliver.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. God bless him. Anyone else? Okay, so I will close council comments and I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Council President Farkas, second by Councilman Ligotti. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Thank you all very much.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Take care.